Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so I wanted to go into this research reality, right? Because I'm still learning how all of this works, and I'd like to get your perspective because now, and I love the way Matthias said that. By the way, he said like she entered an area that she didn't know, and now she's the world expert. I was
Whoa! Let's tone it down.
like, well, he said it, so
If Dr. said,
this is the tone now. Katerina, world experts. It should be next to your. Actually, it should be right next to PhD. PhD world expert.
my God, my card is gonna be.
Why not? Why not? But I mean, you said, and I thought this was interesting, right? You said you worked in a wet lab,
Yeah.
and then you said you wanted to do something that was closer to the population,
Yeah.
and so you chose cardiology because obviously cardiology. Like it's hard. Of all the fields, of all the things, right? And I know that heart disease is like this really, really high prominent killer. But like, why cardiology? Like, why did you? Of all the things that you could do, why cardiology? Or was it MR? Which one was the choice?
It was cardiology first.
Okay.
So when I was working in the wet lab, I was actually making cardiomyocytes, so heart cells. So that's what I was doing. So I was in the field of cardiology still.
You're serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah.
Why not?
So that's what I was doing. And I got into cardiology out of interest. So I think my mom has heart disease. She had a couple heart attacks. And then I started learning more about the heart, obviously. And then I just became interested in certain fields. I started learning more about them. And then when I continued pursuing a path of research, I started choosing research in, cardiology-related domains rather than something else, because I happened to be building a base of knowledge around that, and I found it interesting. And it's amazing because it's a single organ, like it's the heart. It should be pretty straightforward, but it's so complex and intricate, and I think that's what kept me hooked because it's always interesting, at least for me, to learn things that are challenging. I don't like getting to a place where I'm
complacent.
Yeah, where everything is known and I know how to do everything. I sort of do have continuously learning and always growing. So.
Give it some of the adventures that you told me you were on. I believe you.
Yes.
I'm referring to a trip, a very pleasant trip that you mentioned where you went camping on a kayak in the West Indies.
Yeah.
You did that.
Yeah,
why make things simple? Why go camping on a beach? No. Let's go hunt for our food. Because I went on this trip with my boyfriend, and I never thought I would find someone like me, but he is like me. I mean, he's just, we don't think about things before we do them. We just jump into these situations. We're always on these adventures. So yeah, we went on this kayaking camping trip in the Bahamas where we literally kayaked island to island, had to find a place, there was no designated places to sleep. There's no signal. So we didn't have our phone. We just had to map it out. And Using
also
the stars.
And also it's hot, right? So we couldn't bring food. So we literally had to fish for our food, and not just fishing, you throw a rod, you sit on the boat and it's comfortable, with a spearfish. So we had to dive. Free breathe, and in Bahamas it's illegal to use a gun, so you had a sling. We had to use this sling, find the fish, shoot them, swim after them, get the fish, swim back up.
And not be caught by sharks, because
we had a kayak. Did I mention we had a kayak? So not you don't have the motorboat where you can just come back and...
No, there's no resting.
Yeah.
There's no resting. So when you say...
It's the free diving to cardiology, probably trying to last longer in the air to survive.
Well, so when Katerina says I don't like easy things, I'm like, yeah, okay. Okay, I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you. You like hard things.
Yeah.
And I mean, clearly you don't shy from a challenge. Clearly.
Yeah.
Dr. Fredericks must have been the perfect match, I I guess.
Yeah.
Had to be. I mean, I just first time I meet the man, and he's just like
Yeah.
over the top already to me, you know. And
He's cool.
Yeah.
He's really cool. And he's extremely generous. Like as a person, and I don't know how this comes across. I don't know if you heard this story. Kathleen's dad got lost a few weeks ago. We were away on vacation. Kathleen's dad got lost. And as we were in Jamaica while, this happened in Montreal, one of the calls she made was to Matthias, and he just got up and went and searched for him.
Oh.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
She just mentioned it because they were in a conversation, but the fact that he actually went in a search party, like and I mean, like, I'm not even surprised a little bit by this type of a reaction. That's just the kind of man that he is. He's very generous with his time.
He really is, and that's I think predominantly the reason that I chose to have him as a supervisor.
Yeah.
My master's supervisor was this Swiss-German guy, and he was really like, we're going to do things my way or the highway. And he dictated everything. And actually, it was cool for a master's because he was so critical and meticulous that I learned a lot anyway, because I was just like, I was too free, my mind was free to think about anything. And he really structured me. But I realized that for my PhD, I didn't want that kind of supervisor. And I chose Matthias because he was very flexible. You could speak to him. And also he was just a kind person.
Yeah.
Like I knew that he would care about me.
Yeah.
Because you hear these horror stories about PhD students and their supervisors keeping them around because they're cheap labor and they're doing their work for them. And yeah, he's such a nice person. I was like, he would never do this.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey? How did you, because I mean, I kind of know parts of things, but I don't know the story, the origin story of Katerina, the superhero. Like how does that happen? How did you get your cape?
So my PhD journey?
The whole thing, the how you came from young Canadian girl to this accomplished PhD student, amazing woman. How did that story happen? I'm just asking you, broad strokes. Talk about what you're comfortable talking about, obviously, but like what the why that brought you from one step to the other, like.
Okay, it's not
linear.
It's not linear at all.
Obviously.
I've always been all over the place.
Yeah.
As a person. Which is probably like a character flaw and a character strength.
Yeah, absolutely.
Depending on the situation. But so it's interesting because now that I'm finishing a PhD, I look back in high school, I said I was going to do a PhD. And
did you?
Yeah, and my whole like dream when
Who
I was
says
a
that?
kid is like to be a professor. So it's kind of funny that I ended up here, but it wasn't like I said that and then I went on track to do that route. So
Time.
Yeah.
Did you have a professor in your life? Did you have a professor that had a great impact on you? Like, you wanted to be a professor in high school?
Yeah.
Who does that? I mean, I heard fireman, cop.
I know.
Right? Biologist, maybe, but a professor? Like, that's random.
I know.
It's super random.
I had this value for education, and
Clearly.
From a young age, I think. So we're really going into the roots, but my first language. So my mom comes from Russia, my dad comes from Guyana, and my first language is Russian, actually. And so when I started school, because I started school in Canada, everyone speaks English or French, and I didn't speak English or French. And so I struggled in school to, like in English class or French class, like reading, speaking. I had this really strong accent. And so my dad would spend a lot of time with me, and he would like supplement my learning at home because I was behind, I was slow. And I think from that, I gained this appreciation for education. And and also not just education, but disseminating knowledge. Because, he was very patient with me. Like teachers in elementary school were telling me, like, your kid, like telling my parents, like, your kid is never going to be an academic. Like, she's not going, like, she's, maybe we should even pull her behind a grade.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So, I was kind of getting this feedback at school, and then my dad still had like all this patience with me, teaching me things, and so I just
I had this strong appreciation for disseminating knowledge to people who wanted to learn.
What did your dad do?
He's an engineer.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Daddy's girl. All right. All right.
And so I just thought I would love to do that. I would love to like kind of give back, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I thought about being a professor, and that was kind of what I thought. But then, of course, you grow older and perspectives change. So I started my undergraduate degree, and I kind of lost sight of that. I was studying environmental sciences and math. And then when I finished, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had done an undergraduate thesis in an environmental science lab, and the trend at the time was applying for government funding to do field research. So I applied, I got the funding, I moved to Brazil to do field research in the forests there. I loved Brazil so much that I stayed after my contract was done. And I traveled around. I also have like a background hobby in dance. So I was just learning the traditional dances. And this was around the time my mom started having like a heart attack and having some problems with her heart. So I was also learning about cardiology independently on the side. From my kind of like expat days in Brazil, I started missing academia, actually. I started missing learning and being in this stimulating intellectual environment. And I decided to go back to school. Sorry?
In Brazil?
No, the intention wasn't to stay in Brazil, but I was open at this point because I had lived abroad now, and so I was not so confined to doing it in Canada. So I applied in Canada, but I also applied in Europe. And I ended up studying my master's in Germany because, they don't have international fees. So it actually was cheaper to study in Germany as a Canadian than to study in Canada as a Canadian.
Awesome.
So,
this is awesome.
Were you more comfortable with the language, or is it taught in English over there?
Oh, no. You don't know this one. Hold. Please, tell the people.
So we had to learn German. Yeah.
So the best moment in your life, hold on. So the best moment in your life to be learning a new language is when you go to university to do your master's. Obviously. Anyways.
So it was challenging. German's a tough language.
Yes, German is a very difficult language. When you don't speak it to go to university in there, like Katerina, I find you amazing.
But
The lack of fear that you have is just
it's scary, right?
a bit, just a bit.
I don't want to be the boyfriend.
Yeah.
This man must have a heart like, oh.
He's worse.
Really?
He's worse.
Worse?
Yeah. He's worse. Anyway, we're not getting into it, but
He's got to be fearless. Like, I'm sorry, he's got to be fearless.
Or
No. See, that's the thing. No.
free. That's
No. You don't get to be this smart and not be with someone that just as smart as you. I don't think that works. Am I wrong?
yeah, he's very smart. Yeah.
No, the motivation Venn diagram does not work that way.
What
No.
does it do?
He actually is an engineer, and he also works with cardiac MRI.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Taking notes? No.
yeah. He talked to her hard, I guess.
Oh. Anyways, Germany, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Masters
so
in German.
Germany, learning German. In this time, I was doing like biomedical engineering, working with cardiology, making heart cells, working in the wet lab. I thought it was really cool, but I was missing. So I had decided like I wanted to pursue a more academic path because I was missing intellectual stimulation. So I was doing that, but then I was missing this motivation that comes from like really working with the public, like really working with seeing your research being applied in real life and actually seeing it come to fruition. And I guess that's where I met Matthias. And that's, the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. At the cafe.
I want to hear
in
about
Berlin.
that cafe.
You have to tell Danny how to find the
I want to find that cafe.
You'll
I
figure
want a
out where to
picture of that
find the
cafe.
picture.
I don't know. I'm thinking, 20 years from now when somebody makes your movie, it's gonna be like that scene. There's the pivoting moment where she met. I don't know.
And it's crazy. It's in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to this cafe. I didn't know it ahead of time. I'm going to this cafe and I'm like, I hope this is like gonna be okay,
It's a bit sketch. You're saying it was a bit sketch. Yeah, okay. That's all right.
Perfect for the picture, actually. You should take a picture somehow.
Yeah.
Send it to me. I'll edit it real nice.
Yeah.
Put it in a pouch, okay? And
Yeah.
then we can sell it for the foundation. The beginning. Anyway,
There's something to be done about that. Use a picture of the cafe.
For sure.
Yeah. With a picture of you, and a picture of Matthias and Bubbles, and then a clock with 10 minutes on it. I think this could be swag. I think this could be really good swag, actually. I don't know. And the thing is like I really like things that only geeks understand. Like the people that know the story will be like, oh my God, you like this too, Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. So maybe not now, but eventually this will come out. Anyways, so your master's, met Matthias, and then you moved from Germany to Montreal. What's the motivation there? Like outside of Matthias, or was that explicitly what it was?
No, it's 50-50. I mean, I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
My family is in Ottawa, and I was living abroad. So before I lived in Germany, I lived in Brazil. So it had been a while since I was in Canada. And I thought it would be nice to be back closer to my family. But I thought, like, if I don't find something that matches my career or intellectual interest, then I don't have to move back to Canada, but it would be nice. And so I met Matthias, and he had his group in Montreal, and it was kind of like perfect, that it was very intellectually stimulating. It seemed like a good environment. The research kind of fit my interests, and it was in Canada, not only in Canada because it's huge country, but in Montreal, which is only 2 hours away from Ottawa. I was like, that's perfect. I'm close enough to my family, but not in the same city as them.
Yeah. You can visit, and then you get to leave.
Surprise visit.
Yeah.
But how do you? That's maybe more of a personal question, I guess. But you moving to like across the world is just like no problem.
Yeah.
Family, my friends, all that. You moved from there to here to there. You said Brazil.
Have you met her?
You said.
Have you met her? She makes friends. She arrives somewhere and makes friends. Am I wrong? She makes roots.
Were you here young?
Yeah, I was here young.
So you were raised by Quebecois?
Well, so they're from Ottawa. They live in Ottawa, so Ontarians.
Okay, different a little bit, but I mean it's different because here we're like raised to like you better not move more than 45 minutes away from this house or else.
I think culturally Montrealers don't move much, but I feel like from my experience anyways, most Canadians move around a lot, right? Most of the people that I've met across this great country, like people move a lot.
We're talking Brazil and then Germany, and we're not talking about like move to New York.
Understand that she cranks everything to 11?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think
but
it's...
you know what I mean?
I do.
I think it's like a personality trait that comes from I don't know where. But I have a tendency to do things without fully like, most people, okay, they say, moving to Brazil. Okay, here are the pros, here are the cons, here's everything I'm going to think. Like, I have a tendency to just move to Brazil. Cool. And then I'm in Brazil. And then all of those things still come, but I'm in Brazil. So I just deal with it on the spot. Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think when Matthias was saying earlier, like when opportunity meets preparation, right? There was an opportunity. You felt you could deal with it, and obviously you did.
Yeah.
Right? And until you've done it, realistically speaking, do you actually know what the real challenges are going to be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm certain that you could probably tell me more what are the catches to moving to an international location. I'm pretty sure that you have better so than what I would think of for myself.
Yeah, of course, experience I think is more, you get a lot of knowledge from it more than,
different languages too.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain like intellectual, I guess,
flexibility from learning Portuguese on the spot, from learning German on the spot, from learning. Yeah.
Okay. Because
Well,
just French and English is, if you speak these, you know what I mean? Like you have
Yeah.
more intelligence just knowing
Yeah,
the
yeah.
language and its culture. A little
But
bit.
learning from somebody
So I
that
can't
only spoke
imagine-
Russian.
How many languages do you speak?
5 at varying levels, though.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a mindset. Like, you know, I have a tendency to think like, okay, we can do this. Like maybe we can't do this now, but like, okay, we can do this, you know? And again, that has its pros and cons.
Yeah, swimming with the sharks. Yeah.
But so far, so good.
Yeah.
You have your legs. You're good.
Yeah.
You won. You won
Yeah.
that one.
So,
Okay, wait. Okay, so Dr. Frederick, that's 4 years here,
yeah, 4 years.
and now where are you going? What's going on?
Well, I'm moving to Switzerland now. Yeah.
Project number 6.
Yesterday.
No, but you speak German. You speak French.
It's actually
You
perfect for
speak
Switzerland.
English.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
you'll fit right in. You'll fit right in.
So what's happening over there? The party? Was it-
I mean, they have a lot of cardiac MRI research, it's true, but the real reason I'm moving there is more personal. My boyfriend, we're getting married, and he's Swiss, and he lives there, and he has an established job, and since I'm in a transition phase, it only made sense that I make the move. But that's really the reason. But also, I mean, it's a great place for my next step. There's really a lot of cardiac MRI research that's going on there, and I'm hoping to get involved in it.
So University of Lausanne, that's where you're headed. You're going to be doing what there? What's the Katerina project? And is there something that I can't not talk about, by the way, or is that okay?
No, it's okay. I mean, there's no set plan yet. I haven't officially applied for anything yet.
They would be insane not to take you.
Yeah,
and you know that.
so ideally Lausanne.
Yeah.
They do a lot of. It's like really. It's another institution that does like cutting edge research. It's more technically focused. So I'm kind of excited about it because I've gained all this technical knowledge in my PhD that I'm hoping to be able to apply. But if not Lausanne, then Bern also has a very nice university that does cardiac MRI research as well. And actually Matthias works with a couple of the cardiologists there.
Of course he does.
So we've been in touch a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, you'll fall on your feet. That's for sure. You'll land on your feet. I
But
have no doubt.
I'm not opposed to like, you know, taking a small little hiatus after I finish. So that's why I haven't been in a huge rush to find something
jump
right
right in.
away.
So
Yeah.
you get that intellectual need of learning.
Yeah.
Go explore the Alps or something. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Hike across the Alps or something.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay. Well, this is cool. This is cool. What more did you guys want to?
I mean, we have so much. I don't want to
know.
hold her more.
Yeah.
We must have a day to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
lunch, I guess, and we already probably spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
We have a lot of material.
We have a lot of material, and we started a little bit early, so it makes sense to end a little bit early too. Katerina, I appreciate I've been fortunate enough to have you as a coworker, so I'm very I feel overjoyed by this. But the fact that you would give me some of your time, I really appreciate it.
Oh no, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.
Wrap it up.